Hello everyone and welcome back to the preliminations of the Tournament of the Old World as we are kicking off with round 1 of the Greenskins, and a very solemn looking Jeff the Ref, I do apologise, is informing us that we are indeed a go-go as we're out here on the Badlands, the plains that the orks do like to have a bit of a ruck in. Our two warriors generals today are Wurrzag, the Great Green Prophet, versus Azhag the Slaughterer. Wurrzag, as we can see down here, is a shaman prophet of the orcs, a leader of savage types, although he doesn't have any savage orcs in his army today. We have numerous orc boys mixed in with some snotling pump wagons with flappers, some night goblin archers, a goblin big boss as a hero unit for him, alongside a heavy hitting unit of trolls, a orc boar boys, and some goblin forest spider rider archers as well. Across from him and up this hill, a very good defensive position that Azhag has chosen to fight this battle, we have a unit of goblin wolf rider archers, another unit of snotling pump wagon flappers there, a squig herd. We've got ourselves some night goblin infantry, some orc arrow boys, savage orc biggins on the other hand, which could cause a lot of damage very quickly. Some goblins, a couple of units of goblins, I believe. Azhag himself over there, a savage orc unit, some night goblins on squigs, alongside a unit of orc boar boy biggins. So a fair amount of the old big greenskins there. 40k terminology, they'd be known as knobs, but let's get this going. As the two sides sidle up, there's obviously not much reason for Azhag to move. He does have the high ground. Meanwhile, Wurrzag's got to get his forces up the hill over here. Snotlings just not quite sure what the wings do on the pump wagons, but you know, if it makes them happy, that's the main thing. Wurrzag smartly not running his troops up the hill. We don't want to exhaust them before things get going. There's the goblin big boss there on his trained spider with his rather nasty looking spear. Both forces have definite strengths and weaknesses here. These trolls could cause a fair amount of damage. They're a hard-hitting unit, but they don't have a lot of coherency. They're not very well organised, and in the middle of a melee, if they're not surrounded by friendlies, they can break very quickly. Well, Forest Goblin Spider Rider is a very fast-moving harassment unit. Orc Boar Boys are just a heavy-hitting cavalry force, but they do have some tougher units across from them on Azhag's force. I'm actually going to lean on this one to be Azhag, to be honest. I think Azhag's got a bit more punch for his selection of troops here, mainly from the likes of the savage orc biggins, the boar boy on larger steeds there. We've also got the squigs and the savage orcs. Just a bit more heavy hitting power there. Squigs are looking hungry. Oh, say that, the squigs get hit by a spell, probably thrown by Wurrzag himself. Both of these leaders are themselves spellcasters in some form, and we could see some very nasty and a very weird orc magic being cast here. So Wurrzag has got his pet squig on the back of him in a small cage. It could be a snack. We do know that orcs do like to eat certain squigs when they feel a bit peckish. If it's not them, it's fungus, which goblins do grow a fair amount of in the underground, the caves, the many dank underground systems that exist below the old world. We could start seeing some arrows being flung very shortly as the fast-moving goblin spider riders get into position. Looks like they're going for a flank there, trying to use the hill there to protect themselves from any incoming fire. Not a bad idea. Very tactical for goblins. Not known for their tactical prowess. Greenskins overall not really known for much in the way of tactical prowess, but definitely known for one thing, and that is being able to hit a target heavily. And there's another spell flying in at the squigs. Not a lot of damage, only a couple of dead squigs. It's an acceptable loss. And it's certainly not going to turn the tide of battle anytime soon, as we see the Goblin Wolf Rider archers getting into position, and they've started the harassment fire on the orc boys. This is imperative now that these units manage to tie up. And the spell's being cast. Oh, the foot of Gork slamming down, crushing tunes. The squig herd have gone berserk. The orc arrow boys are in disarray. They are fleeing It's a fantastic start for Wurrzag. Trolls getting stuck in, but the Orc Boy Biggins probably more than a match for them. Meanwhile, the Goblin Spider Rider archers are throwing on some arrows though. Azhag getting punted away by the Orc Boys. And the two Orc Boy units are now met in battle. There's obviously a bit of a disparity here in armour and weaponry, but I mean that the support fire from the Goblins on the Spiders there won't be an assist. Oh, the Trolls are already fleeing. That's a bad sign there. They're being harassed by the chasing units of Savage Orcs, who are now themselves being attacked by some of the snotling pump wagons. Orc Arrow Boys, looks like they've managed to rally themselves. Oh no, they're still being harassed now by an Orc Boy unit. I think a mistake was made by not finishing off the Orc Boar. Oh, the big ones on the boars are actually, they're also fleeing as well. This could cause a domino effect. They could all start to rout. But here in the centre line, the Orc Boy units of Wurrzag having a tough time, and there's the war. An important buff there that Azhag has managed to get on his units. This is going to give them a buff to their armor piercing, their melee attack, their base weapon damage. They're immune to psychology, which means they're not going to flee regardless of their losses, and this is now causing the said domino effect as more and more units of Wurzags are beginning to lose coherency. They're beginning to lose their morale. They are going to flee. One of the pump wagons literally exploded. I don't know what they were carrying that would actually cause an explosion, but there we go. Wurrzag right in the middle of the fray here, just slapping Savage Orcs left and right, trying to get them off. The Trolls have come back into the fight, but really, how long can they last? I say that, and they immediately start to flee again. It's not a good sign there. Wurrzag continuing to do what he can. He's not casting any spells. I don't know if he's out of mana. But then again, I could say the same about Azhag. There's not much in the way of spellcasting coming from Azhag the Slaughterer, who just seems to be, well, content to just slaughter the foes with his, as he'd call it, a huge chopper. The Arrow Boys throwing in now. It's looking like Wurzag's force is definitely on the back foot. I would say they have pretty much broken at this point. The Goblin Spider Riders at best can do a little bit of damage to Azhag, but it's not really going to make much of a difference. The only real unit that's doing anything over here is the Goblin Big Boss on his Spider. He is absolutely surrounded here by Goblins on Squigs, and the Squig Herd itself is also charged in, so I think his morale's probably going to crack at some point. And there we go, he's starting to break. He's probably done a good job, he's probably tried his best. Bless him on that one as we take a little drink here of some of the finest old world tea. Arrows flying in now as some of Wurzag's forces try to get back into a position, but both of his Night Goblin Archer units are in bad position, and they are being chased down by the Goblin Wolf Riders. A bad rout here. Wurrzag is just going to lose more and more troops as this goes on. Jeff is informing us that they're losing ground. Thanks for that, Jeff. But it looks like, yep, that's it. All of Wurzag's troops have indeed routed completely. There is no chance of them making a comeback. I'd say that Jeff's going to call this any second, because overall, it's done, and there it is. Jeff the ref calls this as a close defeat, but honestly, I think Azhag was in charge the whole time, and that ends the first round as Azhag the Slaughterer goes over to face the next general on the list in round 2. Which will be, let's check the records here. It will be not Grimgor Ironhide, it's Grom the Paunch. So we'll see what happens in round 2.